organised it out there. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Higgins. I head up the employment team at Ralli. And as Emma has just said to you, the purpose of today is to give you, for those of you who've never seen a tribunal before, a flavour of what to expect in the event that one of your employees should take you to an employment tribunal. But the real serious message behind today's event is that the employer has lost already before they even get to an employment tribunal. That's the message we need you to understand. It's not really about who wins and who loses on the day. It's about the cost of getting there in the first place. You'll see lots of screaming headlines in the paper about usually people from the city winning millions of pounds in compensation. I'm pleased to tell you that those cases are quite rare. Very, very few. You only need to look at the Employment Tribunal Service's website to see that the average compensation for an unfair dismissal claim is around £5,000 and the average compensation win for discrimination is around £8,000. So those figures, although I'm sure you don't particularly want to write a cheque for that amount to anybody, nonetheless they're not sort of the terrible figures that you'd imagine as portrayed by the media. But behind those relatively modest awards lie the true cost of the proceedings, which are the legal fees. Very few people will be headstrong enough to take on an employment claim themselves unrepresented, because the employment laws are actually very sophisticated, particularly with discrimination, and it will be very difficult to do that. So most people would try to involve lawyers at some point. Now, in today's scenario, you imagine that the respondents have tried to save money by representing themselves right up to the very last minute. And at the last minute, the managing director, or the senior principal, I think he's called, his name's Mr. Buck Witt, decides to hire me, the respondent's lawyer, at the last minute to try and get them out of a mess. And as you'll see during today, I'm going to have quite a few problems with that, because they've already prepared themselves all of their statements. I would obviously not advise anyone to do that in real life, but the reality is, the sooner that you involve lawyers, the cheaper it is, believe it or not. Because if you can get expert guidance right from the start, then chances are the claim will never be made to the employment tribunal. And if you can keep a dispute in-house, that's the cheapest place to resolve it. Okay. So, today's event then, in the case of the respondent today, they've obviously not managed to resolve the dispute, and we're here set in employment tribunal. So I want you to imagine now it's 10 o'clock in the morning, which is the time that most employment tribunals begin across the land, and the parties are ready to come in. So without further ado, we'll send for the parties to come in.